Trial by fire, why not?
Hindi komportable kumain.
Smell finer than perfume. The dragon. It is the most iconic creature in fantasy games and stories because it is rare, powerful, mythical, and each one integral to its setting. So much so that the dragon's very presence seems to warp the land around it, or perhaps the dragon itself is so in tune with its surroundings that this mythical monster has camouflaged and reshaped its own image to match the land it inhabits. Who can say, when as far as anyone knows, that dragon is as old as the land itself? What? Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual provides a definitive and clear answer to that otherwise awesome mystery of dragon lore? Blah 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 blah. Red dragon layers. Red dragons make their layers in smoldering, unapproachable places such as volcanic mountains, burning wastelands. But the region containing an adult or ancient red dragon's lair is warped by its presence, creating the following effects. So, okay, not the land, the dragon does it if it's an adult or ancient. And I don't know about this new book, but I know the previous Monster Manual tells you exactly how many years old an adult or ancient dragon must be, and both books tell you the exact radius in miles of land that changes, and exactly when the land reverts if the dragon is no longer present. And I kinda hate this. It's nice info for a dungeon master to have at their disposal, but I think this scientific approach, especially when revealing information about the dragon, is not merely wrong, it is antithetical. It is the very opposite of what fantasy is all about. So speaking of science, something I learned early on as an environmental educator is that curiosity and wonder are often killed, just cut off, by a clear answer. So don't get that twisted. Answers are good. Truth is good. That's why we do science, and that's why I like it. But the joy of learning and that pursuit of knowledge is all about discovery, both in education and in fantasy. It is about how you uncover that truth. And as I'm sure you know, reading truths out of textbooks is often the least fun way to discover them. So, in this video, we throw out these answers on dragons so we can discover new truths about the dragon of our own game by making one. But hear this, we are not about to simply make a dragon. No. We are world building the dragon that will just ooze mystique and draw in your players. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and this video is part of Monster Week. Organized by Ginny D and Pointy Hat, there will be dozens of creators making dragon videos this week, all in the playlist below. But right here, you're in for a treat, because I've never before seen these amazing steps for dragon creation described on YouTube. And yes, while our final dragon result will be broadly compatible with your favorite D20 fantasy game, and you could easily make a few of these unique dragons with this process to cover a few level ranges, balance is not the point. Remember, we are here to revel in the quintessential mystery of the most iconic fantasy monster. Therefore, we are using the tools provided in the only fantasy RPG I know that puts mysterious monsters on such a high pedestal that its bestiary does not even include a single dragon stat block. No, it forces you to create your own dragon with these tools. Dungeon Crawl Classics. But first, if you need some dragon minions like amazingly sculpted reptile folk miniatures, look no further than today's sponsor, Tomb Guardians. Personally, I had a blast painting their new Heroes of the Realm Adventurers set, but this whole Burrow and Bloom Springtime Bash collection includes all these halflings, as well as Dragonborn, Minotaurs, and over 30 other monsters, plus magical items and artifacts. So it's really a great variety of minis to check out, even if you don't need those dragon minions. And I'm genuinely impressed with the quality. I didn't have to spend any time filing down or clipping off little plastic supports. The level of detail feels perfect, like lots of interesting features on
I
each
guess
model,
she is still
but
pretty
not
good, huh?
too complex even for me as a total noob painting minis. Literally, this guy with the little potions and bells in his beard is the second mini I've ever painted, and I love how it came out. And for the best price they'll ever be, these Tomb Guardian minis are coming to Kickstarter on April 29th. So use the link below to sign up for a notification when it goes live. Alright, we begin our mysterious dragon creation by jumping to the last table for a dragon appearance, so we can root the rest of our creative process in flavor, not mechanics. If you have a D30 to roll, great. This is the only funky die we need today, but if not, roll it online or just use a D6 or 1, 2, 3 and a D10. But we got 15 lion-like, already unique from the standard fare of D&D lore, but even if you get a familiar result like blue, gold, red, whatever, remember, this is your dragon that just happens to be that color. It's not automatically bound to any Forgotten Realms lore. And right here, we're going to start a little word bank. Yeah, along the way, we're just going to list cool keywords inspired by the dragon's features. So at the very end, we can use some of them to construct an awe-inspiring title for this dragon. More like a poem of lore that certain players will just be unable to resist, instead of merely throwing a bunch of X's, V's, and Z's into a name like every other dragon. Next, roll a D6. I got distracted by Charizard there. Next, we're rolling a D6 for the dragon's cosmic alignment to one of the 3 primary forces: law, neutrality, and chaos. And we got a 2. Lawful. So this dragon wants the best for all in the realm, versus chaos, meaning the best for themselves, more likely to be an ally to the characters, but you never know. And that's giving keywords like justice, true, wise, order, perhaps the ordained. And our next table, dragon size. Results go from pseudo-dragon to godlike, but skewed heavily toward average, which is described as the size of a small house. Each result also tells us the dragon's hit dice, age, speed, and attack bonus. But, welcome to my twisted mind. We're just going to roll a d20 for each column, so maybe we get even more unique results. Size 13 is average, so also not worth mentioning in our dragon title word bank. Hit dice result 16 gives us 1d8 plus 4, but pay attention, that's not the hit dice, that'd be very low. That's what we roll to determine its number of hit dice, which the note above says are always d12s. So rolling 1d8 plus 4, we get 10 d12 hit dice, and that's also meaning that our saving throws are all plus 10. Similar for dragon age dice, our result of 3d4 is what we'll roll on the next table. But speed, here we go. I got a 20 on this roll, giving our dragon an 80-foot walking speed and 160 feet for flying. An incredibly fast dragon, absolutely worth part of its title. So maybe the lightning, the swift, blazing, ephemeral, because it's just here and it's gone. The ghost, that'd be cool. And its attack bonus, roll of 19 gives us hit die plus 1d6, so that's 10 plus 1 for plus 11 attack bonus. Wonderful. Now before we jump into the tables for age and breath weapons, spells, and other powers, let's address 2 things that DCC does not cover: layers and minions. Now my gut hears lawful lion-like mythical creature and immediately thinks of the Egyptian Sphinx. and that rhymes. So all we gotta do is subvert that expectation. Instead of desert-like environment and pyramid layer or giant statue of itself, this dragon lives on a small island in the middle of the ocean, perhaps in a volcano for a different pyramid-like structure. But an even cooler layer would be a massive coral palace or something. Remember, unless the player characters are determined to travel here next session, that's all we need to know about the lair. And for some fun minions that my players would like, probably just a spy network of intelligent cats, but we could use humanoid cat-like creatures, or specifically for D&D, the Tressum winged cat monster would be an obvious choice. However, the best dragon minions will always be kobolds and dragonborn, so remember to check out our sponsor if you skipped that part early. Alright, dragon age. From very young, 1 to 5 years, to immortal, 5,000 plus years. We're going to roll 3d4 as determined by that size table earlier, and our result is old, 101 to 200 years. Okay, Editor Bob here, and I know this is a bit of a role reversal, but today it was beautifully overcast and cool out, whereas the other days this week when I could have filmed and had to film, it was super sunny and like very cold. But I'm interjecting because the part you're about to see or either just saw shows this DCC Dragon Age table with specific ages and determining other specific things about the dragon. So it could totally seem, and may be, a little bit hypocritical with the example I set up from 5e in the beginning. So I really just want to clarify the difference here, and it does connect to another adage from my days in environmental education. Our goal, we would say this, was to be the guide on the side, not the sage on the stage. And I feel like this DCC table, it's clearly part of this wider toolkit, all telling you how you can build a dragon, guiding you through that process in a fun, hands-on way. Whereas the 5e material, just presenting a stat block and just presenting stuff like this is the way it is much more sage on the stage, pointing out these truths and just telling you, like, learn this. And ultimately, I don't want this to be like a one is better than the other kind of thing, because clearly just receiving the completed material is best in a lot of cases and for a lot of people. I'm just at a stage in my GMing where I really like the tools and playing around with it that way. So that's the premise I've gone with for this video. I just wanted to clarify the point here and the potential hypocrisy you're about to see before I have to see a lot of that in the comments, I guess. So back to it. And this time, let's just take each result right across the table. So our dragon has 6 hit points per hit die for a total of 60 HP. Definitely kind of old school, so you may want to double that or more for super heroic fantasy games like 5e, Pathfinder, DC-20. But also remember that balance is not the point here. The dragon has 2 daily breath uses, an AC of 15 plus hit die, so 25, 2 attacks per turn, which can be claws, bite, or tail slap, and the notes above tell us how much damage these deal. And finally, the die for spells column gives us 1d10 plus 2 to roll when determining our spells. But real quick, let's add the old to our dragon title keywords, and building on that super fast speed and relatively high AC, we can throw in untouchable, ethereal, the ocean mist, the wave. Now for the breath weapon, we're rolling a d14 or d20 if you don't have it, and our result of 6 means that our lion-like oceanic dragon has an acid breath. And I love that, because I probably never would have chosen that result, but it already has me thinking how this acid breath would actually be perfect for sculpting and constructing its calcium-based coral palace. Yeah, because that's science, actually. And the other breath weapon details are pretty straightforward, but I will share that when I rolled for the dimensions of its acid breath cone, I got 50 feet wide and only 10 feet long. So the cone is more like a line that comes out of both sides of the dragon. Absolutely wild. The players will never see it coming. What did I tell you? One of a kind. So keywords here: the acrid, the sculptor, the Sprinkler and spells. Remember, we're rolling 1d10 plus 2 as determined by our dragon age table, and that gives us a result of 4, meaning we have 1 additional action per turn that can be used to cast spells with a plus 4 spell check. That's roughly like a level 2 or 3 DCC caster, so level 4 to 7-ish 5e character. But I guess I keep needing to remind myself that balance is not the point, and we have 2 spells at level 1, 1 spell at level 2, and since this is DCC Wild Magic Anything Goes, we are supposed to randomly determine those spells, and a random side effect that goes off when the spell is cast, called Mercurial Magic. So keeping that quick, we get Detect Magic with Prismatic Distortion, then Read Magic with no extra effect, surprise, and Spiderweb with the effect Gibbering Allies, which is just perfect, because that's supposed to be a bunch of little rat demons and could totally be reskinned as little draconic cats. And these spells are giving titles like the Sage, the Rune Reader, and maybe the Spider. But our last cool moves to add to our dragon are its martial powers and unique powers. We roll for a number of these based on our dragon's hit dice, and in our case, 2 martial, 3 unique, and our dragon can hurl massive boulders over 100 feet as an action. It has 100 feet of infravision, which is basically heat vision. It can mystically detect plants at will, perhaps for seeking some kind of specific magical components. Plus, once per hour, it can summon a 100 by 100 by 20 foot wall of fog that slows creatures inside, and it is telepathic. Now here it is, with all these unique and fantastical features that we discovered together. A dragon combination never before written or played in an RPG, totally unique to our experience. I dub this dragon the maned ghost of Mistasula, sculptor of the Coral Palace, reader of runes and minds, old lion of the waves, Oraz Sunhide. Honestly, the only way to make that cooler is if we use the DCC rules for rolling a magic sword so they can be Oraz Sunhide, wielder of another really cool name. So please give this video a like if you would want to see a video like that, and consider joining my Patreon to support this channel and get a little PDF of this dragon, as well as occasional exclusive videos. Thank you so much. Keep building. The only
Who the fuck made that Quackimieru for Blue Eyes, by the way? What the fuck? Why would you do that? Well, I've never seen that version of Blue Eyes before. It looks pretty cool, honestly. It's still blue colored like the original artwork, but it looks a little more polished, literally. I fucked up my toggle. Nope, they still think I think. They're still think words. Just raw engine. Let's see if it'll be enough. That's an interesting choice. I guess taking out my recursion's a good idea. Didn't know I was playing around Called by the Grave, but here we are.
Last week, Mojang gave us the ability to leash things to other things. I messed around with a couple of ideas for a few hours, and there's some fun things that you can do with it, but nothing that had me insanely excited until I watched this video by Simply Sark, where he created a working crane using an alley and a bunch of boats and rabbits chained together. It's so incredibly creative. Leash-based piston elevators. You know, I think I might make a new world. This place is a little bit chaotic. There's even a warden wandering around. So here's what I'm thinking. I've got a boat on top of a slime block flying machine, and then we're going to have a wall separating the machine and the front of the elevator, and then using a lead, I can attach these two boats together, which means all the ugly redstone stuff is completely hidden, and the only thing that's visible is the boat. Now the question is, does this actually work, or does the lead snap? No, it doesn't. Oh my goodness. That's a problem. Let me try this again. So I've got a lead to a boat. If I sit in the boat, the lead is still attached, so that's good. If I'm already in the boat, does this thing work?
God, if they have bestial, I just lose.
No! It's time for things to get weird. Pig, saddle, boat.
Alright.
Pig with saddle in boats. Lead attached to boats, attached to other boats. That's working. Now if I sit on the pig, oh my god.
So from here we have 3 choices.
Okay. I guess now that I think about it, I don't actually even need the boat. I could just have the pig with a saddle. I don't know. It makes it look more official. Oh
the correct choice has presented itself on a silver platter.
This is pretty perfect. We have now got ourselves a working Minecraft elevator with no visible redstone on the outside that feels, well, uniquely Minecrafty. But wait, I've just realised I'm doing this with slime block flying machines. We're dealing with entities. There kind of doesn't have to be any redstone. We could... Hang on, I just had a thought mid-sentence, and I need to start building it. I'm determined to make something that looks cooler than this, but I want to get this idea out. Question, if I put a cow down here... Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's gone so bad. Oof. Okay, things are looking significantly more promising now.
They're playing Applefish.
Yes. Yes, I really hope this works, because this will be so ridiculously fun.
They didn't get
so
infinite Imperm, unfortunately,
here, which switches between magma
which I'm pretty sure was what they were trying to dig
Iron
for.
Golem, who is attached to this boat using this lead, which you can barely see. We've got our 2 pigs with saddles, and then we have me.
They might still have a way out. I don't know what they're trying to do here. But if they can get out of here, good for them. I like Applefish. I don't mind losing to this.
Yes, it's actually fun. Oh my goodness. That's ridiculously fun. Wait, I need to see this again. So if I turn it off, oh, are they going to take damage?
They can activate right away. As well as draw, apparently.
All is well. I need to see this from a third-person perspective.
That is actually an amazing draw.
That is awesome. Come on. It's all the speed and all of the ease of building of a bubble elevator, but with an elevator look. Are we sure there's 2 pigs in it? Alright, so it's not quite...
If they have another Ash Blossom, that's gonna really suck. Well, we do have triple tactics thrust. I think it's fine.
So introduce chest boats into this. Almost definitely, right? Like, I've got 4 leads going between the boats to the Iron Golem. Do you have like a little mobile storage system? It briefly worked.
Oh, right, the purge. I didn't actually see what they added. The animation was way too fucking fast. Maybe I should slow down my animations. So this is really bad.
Because they can't drown, and also their hitbox is big enough that they wouldn't be standing on the back block. But then I realized that actually you can't drown.
Did they even add Dominus Purge? What if they didn't and they just hard drew it?
And if I put an entity between our entity and the magma block, then it's not going to take any damage. So
We are a little fucked here since they can tribute and beat over Vanity's ruler.
It works in exactly the same incredibly satisfying and incredibly fast way. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. There's bounce up the top, and here we are on our platform, and because we're using a button with a pulse extender,
It's a game we're not destined to win right now.
Now descends to the bottom. I don't know, if we could, how does one get down from here? We could have a circuit that calls the pigs back up to the top and then gradually drops you down, but I personally prefer this method. Yes, I was a little bit nervous then that I hadn't lined those up properly. Headed to Mother here, I was just
Fucking solemn judgment for spells is a little scary.
And saw his made another video 8 days ago about the lead. He features this idea for moving entities outward. Similar enough, I want to chuck it down in the description. But I've come up with a stupid idea that I'm 99.9% certain isn't going to work. We've got an iron golem that is attached to a pig with a saddle. And inside all of these dispensers is TNT. How soon does the lead break? Too soon. It breaks way too soon. I kind of thought that the lead would snap, but a bunch of momentum.
I'm very likely dead.
Would be transferred to the pig, and it would just travel up space. But that clearly wasn't
Yeah, this is the problem with this stupid fucking Logan Jaya version. It's a fucking brickfest.
I mean, this is another transport. To be fair,
What are they doing? What are they doing?
Would have been ruined with a floating minecart rail in the middle. You could have the minecart rail across the top of the tunnel and then just fly along, riding a pig, wearing a saddle, in a boat, being called by a chicken in a minecart. What is actually
We're
going
doing
on?
this first.
It just popped into my head and I had to try it out. This video got recommended to me the other day and I absolutely love it. It's a happy gas train and I gotta be honest, it made me happy. I was smiling while watching it and it got me thinking about how we can use happy ghasts for aesthetic. So it's time for me to revisit elevators. Specifically, slime block flying machine elevators. But here's the thing, they look so ugly. Like, slime block flying machines are almost impossible to make look good. But now that we can start attaching entities to them, and having physics simulations and bits dangling off them, I actually think and be able to achieve the impossible. Let's build an airship. So this is the beginning of the platform that I want the player to be standing on. I really hope that this works. Oh, I can already tell that it won't. It should. Oh, I don't think fly upwards. Okay, let's start again. I was thinking at this point I might be making a happy gas with extra steps, but I don't care because I personally think this looks really, really interesting. Ignore all of this obsidian. Oh, but actually, while I'm down here, I don't know how I've never thought of this. Armor stand decoration inside of flying machines. They're entities, they don't contribute to the block push limit, but they can make really cool details to the build. These almost look structural. They look like part of the mechanism, and I think without it, it would actually look really strange. I've added more, and after a good few hours of playing around and testing various different arrangements, I think this is good to go. Oh, but now that I've got the ghasts in, I forget, they fly downwards a lot. Like,
oh sure, they destroy as well.
If anything, it looks like it's being
No.
down by them. I've tried a variety of everything. I even stacked a bunch of minecarts out, and it's time for the most ridiculous, most stupid idea I've ever had. Sometimes very good things come out of bad situations. Who needs happy ghasts? You have levitating polar bears. It actually looks pretty good. It actually looks pretty good. It doesn't look very chaotic. They look inflatable, they look very buoyant, and as you can see, the system works! There we go! There is our airship, heading off into the sky. This is so stupid. It's not lost on me how ridiculously stupid this is. Right, I haven't actually tried out this part.
Are those considered monsters? Can I super poly them?
Completely unscathed. Everything has worked properly. I was expecting so much more depth. So that's good. It's made it up to the top station. Now let's see if we can send it back down to the ground. Nice.
I should have cited that out.
Our airship is descending. Oh no, we've lost some. Oh, that's. Oh, that's. Oh, there's something deeply upsetting about that. But regardless of
Good.
those guys entering the polar bear space program, most of the others have made it down to the bottom safely. This thing has returned back to its bottom station. This is fantastic, isn't it? But alas, of course, it's not possible to survive Minecraft. There's no levitation potions. I had to do a little bit of trickery to get this situation to occur. And this leads me to making a small suggestion to the Mojang devs, which is when a happy ghast is tethered to something, it'd be really nice if it tried to travel upwards. I think for builders and for animated Minecraft structures, it would be nice to have something that reliably wants to go up. That way we can make things like animated balloons, long vertical daisy chains, and all sorts of bits and bobs. For the time being though, I'm incredibly happy with my full-powered elevator, and this levitating polar bear airship made my day.
Yikes. We gotta play by their tempo here. What? Okay then. They just genuinely bricked. I thought they were onto something here. Can't be activated this turn at least. I lied. I had to make an executive choice right away there, and I'm glad it actually fucking worked. Holy shit. That's really dumb how that works. I don't know how to fight against Apophis. Depending on how they side deck, they very well could just win right here. It's gotta be someone else who did what the expectations of the Street, at the abnormality, most wanted, disturbing the full melody, negative vitality, superficiality, spread the nice personality. You're back again with the plot against me. Get tossed again. Be told your mission's bored again. Never lose my mind like that, like both your grip, like concentrated. Be careful when I'm agitated. Or the Heavenly Presence, a pretty good tech. Oh. How did I top deck Meteon's Drytron 3 games? Jesus Christ.
Oh wow, I didn't realize how convoluted the script for killing enemies is until I needed footage of it. Should I add an explanation about how this works? It's probably fine. It's not like there's any confusion or misconceptions about what deals fatal damage in.
In Deltarune, there's a mysterious, unobtainable item called the Twisted Sword, a deadly weapon thought to only be crafted at the end of the Weird Round. It supposedly has massive amounts of power and the ability to actually kill enemies before they can even run away.
Oh no. Okay, listen carefully. I'm about to be firing a lot of shots into someone's hard work, and I need you all to understand. I do not want you to send any hate to Mystic Slime over this. People make mistakes. I have made lots of mistakes. Just last video, I claimed the data mining community had always known about the Chapter 1 death animation, even though we actually didn't realize it was there until Chapter 2 came out. And let me tell you, there is nothing worse than realizing I messed up, and now I have to live with my erroneous results being on the internet, generating confusion and anger. Forever.
No.
So when I saw this video, I reached out to Mystic Slime to check, and I can now say with certainty
I'll play one
that
more
no,
and then I
he had
gotta
no
go do
intention
shit.
of misleading any of you. Do
Well,
not
I
leave
still gotta
angry
do my other
comments.
dailies.
Do not harass people. No one will be oppressed. Show some mercy, humans. All that said, no, the Twisted Sword does not kill enemies in any chapter of Deltarune. Mystic Slime was using a mod someone else made, and it seems like there was a miscommunication about how precisely
We're
the mod
shotgunning
works.
this.
But don't take my word for it. You can test this for yourself by hopping over to the spammed and save editor. Or, if you don't trust that, you can also
They're
just
playing
open up your
Memento.
old Chapter 2 save file in Notepad, scroll down to line 376, and change that number to an 11.
We're going to get like
Now
one
you
draw
have the
off of
Twisted
this.
Sword, and you can see for yourself that if you use it in battle, well, that's
If
disappointing.
any.
But why does this happen? Well, it's a bit complicated. But
They can just choose
basically,
not to
when
and
an
play a
enemy
weaker
runs out of
board.
HP, it runs
Hopefully
this
the
script
weaker
right
board
here,
will
which
still
checks
be
two things.
tolerable.
First, is the monster frozen? If yes, end the battle by freezing. If the monster is not frozen, then check number 2. Is it under the fatal condition? As you can see in the description, Snowgrave does fatal damage, which means when you cast it, it sets the fatal variable to true, and thus, when it runs out of HP, it dies. But suppose we decrease the damage of Snowgrave. If it's taken fatal damage, but something else deals the finishing blow, does it die? No. What if we do it in the same turn? Still, no. But why? Well, seems like Toby thought of that. Because after you cast Snowgrave, the spell also runs this line here to check if the monster was killed by that attack, and if it wasn't, it switches the fatal condition back off. So why am I bothering to frame this as if it were a status effect instead of a type of damage? Because
Maybe they're confident they can lock me out either way.
Condition, which means any attack that doesn't freeze them will always kill them. Will this matter later? I have no
In which
idea,
case, fuck
but I
me.
thought I'd mention it in case Toby tries to bait us into using Pacify later. Anyway, as you can see, these are the only 2 ways to deal fatal damage at the moment. You'll either have to cast Snowgrave, or you need to be fighting Peepus. But if that's the case, then how did I get that footage of me dealing a fatal hit in Chapter 1? Well, fatal wasn't a variable back then, but the death animation was, so I just kinda replaced the defeat animation with the death animation. And now, when you hit things, they die. But this only happens with mods. So why do people assume otherwise? Well, I see 2 reasons for this. First, this weapon is clearly only obtainable if you've started the weird route. Since said route seems to be this game's murder route, it makes sense to assume the weapon is some kind of evil murder weapon. When you show it to the other party members, they express concern and describe it as looking scary, bad, and, like
There
a
he
spiral,
is.
apparently. Although,
The
it should
big
also
boy.
be noted that the Devil's Knife is also treated as evil by the other party members, even though one of the uses for it is to raise Susie's magic and therefore increase the strength of her healing. As for the Twisted Sword, although it does not have the literal game-breaking stats shown in this mod, it does have the highest attack so far,
Not playing
which does
these
make it
deals.
the best item for violence, even if it isn't capable of dealing lethal damage, presuming Toby doesn't patch that later. However, I would like to point out that dealing damage is not always framed as evil in the world of Deltarune. In Chapter 1, Susie saves us from the king by casting Root Buster, and she does it again to save Noelle from these were-wires. And even in Undertale, violence is still sometimes necessary to proceed, even for pacifism, so things aren't so black and white. In fact, if we look at Undertale's genocide-exclusive weapon, the real knife actually makes most enemies instantly spareable, and thus makes the pacifist run much, much easier, should you find a way to hack or glitch it in. And I've found in my own experimentation that the Twisted Sword is also great for cutting through the Queen's shield, so you can focus more of your TP on saving Berkeley. But what about this trance ability that the sword has? Doesn't that make it evil? After all, it's the same ability as the Thorn Ring,
God,
and all
it'd suck
available
if that
evidence
was called
seems
by.
to suggest that trance was the ability that made it even easier for us to control Noelle. As after this point in the game, she does seem to be in something of a trance, especially here, where she fails to recognize Berkeley, and then again in battle, when her eyes become blank and pupil-less, like she's under a spell. She also seems to be in some sort of a fuzzy, almost blackout state, once the spell is over. And, to be clear, I know Noelle displays some of this sort of behavior long before we get the ring, but my point here
They can
isn't
still get
that the
the
ring is
cost.
literally controlling Noelle, just that it's making her easier to control. Sort of like it's amplifying our
Or
voice for
fusion.
her, which happens to be extra effective because she's already particularly attuned to hearing us and to doing whatever she's told, in contrast to Susie, who isn't. But I digress. If trance increases the player's control over the character, does this mean the Twisted Sword will make Chris even easier for us to control? But wait a second. That's a down arrow next to the trance ability, so it should do the opposite, right? Or, wait. Some of you think this is a placeholder? Okay, I'll check the code. Just for you, Pumpkin. Okay, so if we look here in the weapon info script, we can see the third line from the bottom is the weapon ability icon. This is the part that decides to draw a little down arrow next to the cost of Root Buster for the Devil's Knife, a little up arrow next to the trefoil to let you know it increases the money received, and a little smiley face wingding next to the ability for the cheer scarf because Toby likes messing with us, apparently. Regarding the Twisted Sword, we can see that this isn't a holdover from a previous
Fiend
script, as it does
Smash.
actually specifically call for icon 6, which is the down arrow. And I'm pretty confident that's not a placeholder variable because, well, for one, Toby already has a placeholder for these sorts of scenarios, in the form of a 0, as seen when equipping the main axe, the red scarf, and the wood blade. So it's not like Toby would need to pick an icon at random, and it's very odd to me to assume that this would be a mistake. Even if you want to argue that a 0 wouldn't work, because this weapon has an actual ability, why would Toby not just reuse the ring icon he used for the Thorn Ring? Or he could just use the sword icon, which would be even easier, since he literally has it right there for easy reference in the line right above this one. I mean, it could still be a mistake, right? Like maybe he just really likes the number 6, because Gaster. But I don't think so. If you'll indulge me for a moment, I'd like to present a pair of guesses about why this might actually be intended to reduce Chris's trance. Theory 1. The Twisted Sword is for redemption arc. If Deltarune is 7 chapters long, then that's 5 more chapters to turn ourselves away from this cold and terrible path we've started down. The Thorn Ring is not, after all, exclusive to a completed Snowgrave run. It's an item you can get without killing Berkeley, and you don't ever have to equip it to Noelle. In fact, Noelle leaves the party immediately after using it in a full weird run, so we aren't even sure if we'll be able to get this item back from her outside of an aborted weird route. Perhaps, then, this item is meant to be combined with the Pure Crystal as an act of redemption, to purify our souls and wash away the stain of our sins. The Pure Crystal itself is said to be made from a shadow crystal that was purified by the cat, after all, and in Undertale's genocide route, we actually have a lot of chances to turn back and end the route, even as far as Hotland. So perhaps this item is intended for those 1 foot in the snow grave runners, like myself. Or, Theory 2. The Twisted Sword is for Chris to take back control from the player. Because when you think about it, there are a lot of little implications that Chris doesn't like what we're doing. We can see it in the flavor text implying Chris and Birdley used to be friends, in the way Susie and Ralsei respond to seeing Chris's expression after Birdley's frozen. Apparently Chris appears to be in quite a bit of pain after what we just put them through, and in Chris's refusal to leave the player alone with Susie and Noelle a few minutes later, despite Ralsei's repeated prompting. And of course, there's the scene later at the hospital, where Noelle talks about how Chris has been acting very differently, and although we are clearly still able to control Chris enough to dictate their speech and other basic behaviors, Susie still informs us that when it comes to their expression, Chris definitely doesn't seem to be very enthusiastic about what's happening. His sentiment, which is in great contrast to Undertale's murder route, in which Carol was infamous for sporting a creepy smile, especially during cutscenes such as this one. If you think of the weird root as us, the players, slowly corrupting and taking control of these characters, then the Twisted Sword might be a tool for Chris to fight back, to shake off the trance that compels them to obey us, and scare away enemies with powerful melee attacks, just like Susie did in Chapter 1. Warning them to stay away from us before we have the time to build up enough TP and cast any more of those deadly, fatal spells. Sorry to rain on this parade, though. I have to admit it would be pretty fun to run through the whole game with the Twisted Sword. If only there were some way to patch Chapter 1 to obtain it. Too bad I'm not a coder. Huh? Haha.
Many hours later.
Okay, hold up for a second. So I was trying to figure out how to place a treasure chest here, right? So I could put the Twisted Sword in it, and I need to talk about this, because this is so weird. So normally the way treasure chests work is, they check which room you're in, and assign the item you find in the box based on that, right? So if I put a second box in this room, it will contain a second dagger, because that's what the code says belongs in this room, yes? And, remember when I did that Goner code video, and I spoke about all these creepy messages that exist as sort of the default placeholder code cases, where the code is run outside of these expected rooms and scenarios? You're never going to believe what Toby said to be the placeholder for the treasure chests. It's the freaking white ribbon. You know, the white ribbon. The one Noelle says looks familiar. The one that's sitting right next to this sign that says, "Help, I'm lost." This is the Lost Girls ribbon. You cannot convince me otherwise. Wait, the pink ribbon is in Chapter 1 as well, but it's also unused? What? Oh god, this video is gonna be late, isn't it? Have I mentioned I'm not a coder? Yes? Okay, good. Now here, take this mod that I just blindly stitched together, and, okay, look me in the eye for a second, and listen closely. I tried to alter as little as possible, but I have never made a mod before in my entire life, so if this doesn't work, I'm not fixing it. Deal? Deal. Check the Patreon for downloads, or, if you can't afford it, you can also just watch my Twitch stream of it in the link below. Now then, what do you think? Will the Twisted Sword twist Chris into a perfectly obedient puppet, or will it help them cut the strings? Did Toby code the white ribbon like this as yet another callback to this, or is this purely a coincidence? Did you spot something I missed, or have a novel experience with one of the unused items unlocked in this patch? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time.
Oh, right. Tokens are still monsters. I feel stupid! Should've just waited. They're gonna get their desired end board in the end. With Fiendsmith. I think we lose here just because of that atrocious timing of my Nibiru. I could have had a chance, but now I don't. I blew it. I blew it very badly. And then they get rid of Anguish. This is still pretty fucking good. Don't agree with putting Desiree in defense position, but guess it's more important to protect them from effects rather than combat, which I suppose is agreeable enough. is what I've been seeking. 6 shots, faster than lightning. Shocking, time for head banging. And the ground would be shaking. Back in the town. I wanna kill this boy, I'm with my bullets rock. I'm gonna hit and run, guess I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna shoot down everybody, talking like trash. Blah, blah, blah. Kill this boy, I'm with my bullets rock. I'm gonna keep on talking, it's a talking gun. It's called my super freaking badass son of a gun. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Dustin, Martin. Loving, hearing, kidding. Take down, back on the show. Hit them, let it out of control. Cracker, I've been seeking. Bang, bang, I'll be shaking. Back in the town. I wanna kill this spot, I'm with my bullets right. I'm gonna hit and run, cause I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna shoot down everybody, talking like trash. Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna kill this spot, I'm with my bullets rock. I'm gonna keep on talking, it's a talking dice. I'm a super freaking badass son of a gun. Shout, 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 yeah. Oh, what a beautiful hand. This is perfection. Nice. How did I fucking win that? Oh, Jesus Christ. I just can't beat bad luck, can I? It haunts me, and I cannot escape it. How am I having worse luck drawing names when I actually have more names? I don't understand. Yeah, there's just never really any downside to drawing hand traps and like board breakers. Passing with just hand traps can work. I did it with blue eyes, after all. It's a way for us to interact with the opponent when we're unable to set up a board. And it's a damn good way of doing it too. Again though, why are my hands so consistently worse in this deck specifically? One more duel then. Let's have a mirror matchup of the century. It does suck that I'm not playing Ultimate Slayer anymore. I was never that attached to Appalachia specifically anyhow. This is perhaps the perfect way to do this. I just realized this is a free body for me. I'm taking this. Yeah, I didn't think this through. Caught by the grave ing is a terrible idea. I can make this work. Yeah, no, that's a stupid idea. I'm of course trying to do my best to win with both variants here. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to. Isn't that just the perfect top deck? Tritron without hand trap proves itself somehow. Oh shit, I can't use drill beam if ether barrel's on the field. Motherfucker. Holy shit, I win already. You never turn away from me in this vast gloomy night sky. Like that fire up in the night, the journey that we shall for uprise. No matter where we go, we will not stop the shining forever.
To your bite.
Oh fuck.